This is your Daily 5 for Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. For the final commentary film for this week, we went with another Christmas slasher, although I will admit this is more of a technically Christmas slasher in that it's not actually set at Christmas, but one of the pivotal, if not the pivotal event that sets the entire movie into motion does happen at Christmas. So it qualifies. And what I'm talking about is 1975's Deep Red, or the Italian title, Profondo Rosso, which is done by Dario Argento. This was the last film that Argento did for his early career of making giallo films. After this, he would make Suspiria, which we've already talked about and reviewed, and do supernatural films for a while before returning to the giallo with 1980's Tenebrae, which we will also be watching. And this, the version we watched, which I really was sure I'd reviewed this movie, but then I looked and I cannot find any evidence that I ever talked about it aside from during probably one of the Friday shows here or there, but I can't find that I ever did a proper 5 review on this. So I'm sort of shocked by that. I did do Tenebrae, but I apparently never talked about Deep Red as its own review. So I'm rectifying that right now. We watched as far as I understand it, the full uncut version of the film, which is 2 hours and 7 minutes. There have been various cuts of this film over the years, including one that was, I believe, 26 or 27 minutes shorter. But the version that's shorter, I think, made some of the dumbest cuts possible for the movie in that they cut out character development between the two most important characters of the film, which I just don't understand why they would have cut that when there are other scenes that you could have cut down or trimmed down in terms of length, and I think the movie would still work. Now, we'll talk about this more on Friday. I think Lando struggled a little bit more with the length of this film than I did, which is not a surprise because I think that if you're into filmmaking and into film, and your default position is you want to see as much as the director is going to give to you, assuming that it's all of quality, which it is in this case, then you will have no issue whatsoever with the length of the film. But if you're not, then I can certainly understand why for many viewers, this film will at times feel like it is languishing on things that probably could go ahead and be wrapped up. Now, I think they serve a narrative function. Again, I'll talk about this on Friday, but I understand that for some people, this may seem on the long side. Even though, certainly once you've watched something like Stalker, where it's approaching 3 hours, long becomes a relative term. So I think that the film is a masterpiece. I love it. One of the reasons I do is one of the main characters in the film is played by Daria Argento, who was a co-writer that worked with Argento many times uncredited. She is absolutely fantastic in this movie. I love her character. I love her. She's great. And I think she is part of the reason that the film is as successful as it is, because her interplay with the male lead is just wonderful. There's a lot of great comedy in it. But it also is a classic Argento slasher where a lot of the tropes that he would come to be known for and many others would come to be known for, they're all present. It does have the Italian staple of giallo films where the main character is not any kind of investigator and will spend the bulk of the film trying to remember one particular detail that he feels is vitally important. That is something that happens a lot, particularly in Argento films, but in other ones as well, where there's something that's going to happen very early that the character will sort of know they recognize there's something important, but they can't put together why it's important until the very last 10 minutes of the film. And this is definitely one of those. But it's a wonderfully shot, another beautiful Argento film. This was in his apex of cinematic power when he was making great films, one after the other, with a variety of taste in terms of giallo or supernatural. You can go either way. But this is right where he was doing his best work. And this is certainly one of the finer examples of what he's made. There's often debate on what many people consider to be the best Argento film. This movie is often in that debate as far as a top 5. And I can certainly say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I would definitely put this in the top 5. So again, maybe a little long for some viewers if you're not as into film, as certainly I am. So I think Lando had said, and probably will say again on Friday, that he felt like it dragged a little bit at parts, but still liked it, still enjoyed it. So 1975's Deep Red, if you've never seen it, absolutely worth a watch. Later.